There, 10 down, contact support for 126 Mike. Roger, no subject to the crew.
What you're hearing is the inevitable sound of change.
The most radical president in American history.
Happening to this frequency.
I'll make our government open and transparent.
Hiding spending does not reduce spending.
You can spend that money better than government can spend it for you.
Should the patriots at Concord Bridge have thrown down their guns and refused to fire the shot heard round the world?
And they will follow that path all the way to where it ends, in history's unmarked grave of discarded lies.
I don't think that my church is actually particularly controversial.
The President of the United States, the most radical president in American history.
No more secrecy. That's a commitment I make to you as president.
Yesterday, we talked about our rights to vote. Your right to go to the ballot box and use your voice to elect the officials that you feel will represent their constituency, represent you. Their constituency being the voters. Their constituency meaning you and your ideas, your values, your thoughts, your beliefs, your wishes. Someone who shares those things with you, someone who mirrors or at least shares similar fundamental ideals with their voters. Someone who campaigns with a certain set of promises. Someone who we expect as their constituency to go then to that office, to their elected office, whether it be a PTA board, whether it be a school board, whether it be a city council, whether it be a mayorship, a gubernatorial candidate, a state senator, congressman, congresswoman, all the way to the United States Senate and up to the executive branch. Somebody who we expect, when they campaign on these promises, it's typical for a candidate to start their bid with a small set of 3 or 4 pillar-type issues that they'll use as a foundation for their identity. This is who I am, without trying to cloud the voter's mind, the voter base's mind with all sorts of other issues. Excuse me. They'll use these pillar type issues. So they'll select 3 or 4. Maybe it's abortion, maybe it's national defense, maybe it's foreign relations, foreign policy, maybe it's fiscal responsibility. They'll use these 3 or 4 different pillar type issues to identify themselves. And then we select our candidate based on who we feel is going to represent us the most effectively, based on our core values, based on our ideals, based on the way that we were brought up, the way we were raised, our families, our surroundings, the company we keep, based on the Constitution of the United States, based on what we feel is going to be best for the country in the given time period that we face. Of course, through the generations, through the decades, through the different presidencies, we've faced different issues throughout the history of our country. We face a completely different enemy and a completely different animal, both foreign and domestic, at this point than we did during, for example, the Reagan era, even the Bush era, the Clinton era. But the same set of rules, the same set of fundamentals, the same framework, the same foundation that the country was built on, was founded on, still exists today. The Constitution of the United States, the principles, the values of this country. And so, in talking yesterday about how powerful your right to vote is, the decision then becomes, who's the candidate for me? The 3 or 4, quote, big buttons that they'll use is a good way to start to narrow down your process. Sure, they'll talk about other fillers and whatnot, but they'll usually hit on these select few items and pound them into the brains of the voter base that will be going to the polls to cast a vote, to use their voice, to exercise that power that was provided to you by the Constitution of the United States. My wish is that you'll get past those pillars. My wish is that you'll dig deeper, it's obvious that we're in a time where deceit, deception, lies, corruption, spending, the lack of transparency has become so evident to even the layman. It's right in front of our faces. We have elected officials in Washington and at the state levels, at the executive branch, in the Senate, in both chambers of the House that are bold-faced liars, and that's why it's so important that we get past those pillar-type items and get more into who these people are, how they were raised, where they go to church, what they believe, what's important to you, the way that you raise your family, the lack of government control and regulation in your everyday lives. And that's what defines me as a conservative. Conservative values. They're backed by historical precedent. Conservatives love facts. Liberals, socialists, communists, Islamic fundamentalist terrorists hate facts. Because to them, facts are just things that get in the way of good ideology, and they're irresponsible actions. Speaking of facts, anyone who checks into them will fairly quickly learn that it's conservatives who make up the intellectual party in politics. Conservatives understand that outside of running the military and other related protective services, the government, either federal or state, simply can't achieve what the private, capitalist, free market-based industry achieves. Government is not reason. Government is not the embodiment of any higher moral authority. Government is, at its very best, a necessary evil. At worst, it's completely evil. But it's never, ever rational or moral. It's a force. And that's why it must be kept strictly limited and in check. Conservatives understand that any liberal values must be expressed privately. They can't be ensconced as federal laws or economic ideals. They don't work in that way. If everyone is free, how can you force a large amount of people to accept freedom? You can't. It's really very simple. Conservatives understand that you don't get something for nothing. When the government increases spending and entitlement programs and, quote, bailouts, it's just stealing money from private citizens. And then using that money in ways that are inefficient at best, and downright harmful at worst. Hidden agendas, hiding money, spending for political favors, appointing people, offering jobs, defecting from one party to the next, Arlen Specter. Defecting from one party to the next for pure political gain for the one single objective, and that's for re-election and re-election only. I want you to get into the Constitution, and I want you to read Amendment number 17, Senators elected by popular vote. And it will explain to you how detrimentally powerful your vote is. The Senate of the United States shall be composed of 2 senators from each state elected by the people thereof for 6 years, and each senator shall have 1 vote. The electors in each state shall have the qualifications requisite for electors of the most numerous branch of the state legislatures. Now, that's the beginning of Amendment 17, and really what you need to do is spend some time getting into the Constitution like I did yesterday. But remember your values today. This 28th day of May in 2010 is a great day to be an American. And I need you to realize the importance of your voice, the importance of your freedom to speak in support of or against the officials that you elect. We are in some very interesting times. Very interesting times. And we, the people, are the ones who can make the difference today, this year, this November 2010. We the people. My name is Stewart Peters. Have a great Memorial Day weekend.
Uninformed, lazy.
The question?
Loser.
Was how do you feel about people who don't vote?
Like losers?